Awesome. All right. So welcome, welcome. Hello to everyone. I'm glad to see you again, or for the first time, to our boot camp. And today we are going to be talking about liaisons and definitely how valuable they are to the practicum experience. Again, my name is Dr. Chandra Carr. I am the director here for the Office of Practicum Education. And again, I'd just like to welcome you. We have here with us the awesome Kim Shepherd, who is going to be our speaker and presenter for today. Just to give you a little information about Kim, she is a social worker, has been for many years, that has taken her outpatient clinical work, grant-funded prevention programs, teaching and serving as a school social worker for several years. This profession for her has been very fitting, and she enjoys connecting with people and building relationships. Moreover, her position as a practicum liaison for the last several years has been very enriching. She is excited and really ready to play a part with each student and their instructor in their placement and environment. So we really have a great treat here today. And she has a lot of wealth and knowledge to share with all of us today. So thank you so much, Kim, for being a part of this boot camp and sharing your knowledge with us today. And I will give you the floor. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. Listen, first of all, I want to say, another session with boot camp. So go Practicum Ed. And what I'm hoping is that all of you can take away parts of what it means and what is included in our role as a liaison. I want you to walk away with some clarity. I want to begin by saying that at the beginning of every fall session, when students, right before they're placed and they begin their internship, I do what I refer to as meet and greets. And it's just the way that I work. And again, this usually the phone calls to not only the instructors, but the students. I start maybe a week and a half prior to the start date for Practicum Ed, where they're at their placements. So in last week doing the meet and greet, I was talking to a student who was just absolutely charming. And the student said, okay, you're not my instructor, you're a liaison. So why are you called that? And so I said, well, I don't have the formal definition in front of me, but basically a liaison is someone who reaches out, someone who connects with others. And as I'm telling her that, she said, oh, Kim, I've got the definition. I just Googled it. And she gave me the definition, which basically stated that you are someone who interconnects with other parties. So when she said that, I was thinking about how fitting it would be with this session to say that I really believe that that gives you the foundation of our work, where our work begins. It is a foundation that is set where we as liaisons we're reaching out, we're connecting, and we're interacting with others, right? The way, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. It is part of what we do, and it's the foundation of our work. So when I talk about reaching out and connecting and interacting, it's anyone that is part of Practicum Ed all the way through to your placement. So it could be me interacting with a student, with an instructor, with a CEO, with a director of special ed. So it really is, again, it's the basis of our work. I want to mention something that all of us as liaisons, we represent Practicum Ed. So we need to uphold the standards, and we need to also uphold our requirements that we are required to fulfill. But I want to mention that each one of us as a liaison, as your liaison, we work or we can work a little bit differently from each other in the way that we reach out, when we choose to reach out. And I also want to mention that even though we work a little bit differently while we're fulfilling the requirements, we stand on this platform together that our belief is to support all of our students. So even though we're in the wings, we're here to support. So it brings me back to when I mentioned earlier about meet and greets. It shows you a little different way how I start out the fall semester. So I reach out to students and instructors. I introduce myself. I give them an overview. And I really do it because I want to make sure that the information that I have, their contact info, is all correct. So that is the way I start fall, but that doesn't mean that all liaisons follow suit. And I hope that that makes sense. Some liaisons that I know are like, Kim, I don't check in with students until once they begin their placement and maybe a week has went by, and then I start checking in. So it's a different way that we all work. So I hope that that information brings some clarity. I want to really get into some of the basic parts of how we work. And I broke it up into three parts that I wanted to talk about. As a liaison, what we're responsible for, and what are part of our tasks in working with students and with other parties. Most of us as liaisons, we do what we refer to as check-ins. And those check-ins can look different, but these check-ins, I believe, are so valuable because there are many times when an issue will come up. For an example, there was a student I was talking to, I was doing a check-in, and it had been maybe 2 weeks into the placement. And she said, Kim, I'm so glad you checked in because I just found out I have to have a surgical procedure. And what does that look like? Because I'm going to be out for 2 or 3 placement days. So that being said, I then, at the end of the conversation, I knew what I needed to do. So these check-ins are just, hey, tell me how you're doing. And check-ins can be an email. You can send an email out. You'll receive an email. The second part of our role and how we work with you and what is required. And I know that is it on Thursday that there's a session for IPT for details? Okay. But for the sake of me trying to clarify our role, I need for a moment to talk a little bit about our role having to do with IPT. So your IPT system is the system that was designed for anyone doing a placement. All of your work is on that system. And again, you'll be getting the details of that. But part of what we need to do as a liaison is when you complete and turn in all of your assignments on IPT, and those assignments I look at as basically 2 assignments. Your learning plan, and you have process recordings. We are the third signature that is required on those assignments. So it is the student, the instructor, and we as liaisons are the third party to complete it. So also, you have 2 evaluations on that IPT system. You have a midterm and you have a end of the year evaluation. Those are completed by your instructor. So when I receive the midterm, I review it and sign it. We are the third party to sign off. Now, when it comes to the final evaluation, which is at the end of your semester, each semester, the instructor completes it. When we receive it as the third party, not only do we review it and we substantiate the hours, and we also look over the rating scale, but we also grade it. And the grade is either an S for satisfactory, it is an M for marginal, or it is a U for unsatisfactory. So the difference with that evaluation is that as liaisons, we grade that. So that is another part of our work on the IPT system. I want to bring up another part of what we do is typically right around the beginning of each semester. And again, this could look a little different depending on your liaison. We do what we refer to as site visits, and we're responsible for scheduling those. Site visits can look like an actual physical visit where Kim Shepherd is coming to your placement to sit with the student and the instructor or anyone else that may be part of your agency that wants to be part of the site visit. The site visits can also be Zooms. So it can be a physical site visit or a Zoom. And again, we set those up, we schedule those. You know, I really look at these visits as it's an opportunity for the student and the instructor or the task instructor, who is just an individual that works alongside of the practicum instructor. It's your opportunity to talk about your shared experience that the both of you, like your instructor and yourself, you talk about thus far the progress you've made. It's really the floor. I just sit and I really take in everything that the students have experienced. Sometimes they talk about some of the challenges and how they overcome those challenges, what they did. So they're really kind of this is where we are so far, and it's the shared learning from both of them. I want to really just go over those parts to review it. We basically do check-ins. We also are responsible for reviewing over assignments and reviewing over your evaluations. We also sign off and grade the final evaluation. And then also the site visits. So those are three areas of our work. Now, I could also mention that parts of our work entails such as there are forms and documents that when it is warranted, that we are responsible for completing. For an example, an incomplete. If a student at the end of a semester has not met the requirement in hours, then we may look at an incomplete. But again, there are some documents and forms that we also are responsible for doing. I hope that this so far has been very clear. What I wanted to do next is I want to talk about, because it is something that students over the years have brought up, and that is, what do we not formally manage as liaisons? So what do liaisons not really formally manage? And I will get calls from students and they want me to check their credits or their classes. So I thought it was important to just touch on this. Um, First of all, what we do not manage is we do not place students and we do not withdraw you from any kind of placement. So we don't place you. Our work as a liaison is work that we do with you once you are placed. So we don't find a placement and we don't place you. And that is a question that does come up. Uh, the second phone call, email I will get from students occasionally is, Kim, I need you to go in and look at my class schedule. Or I need you to, I think that I need to change some of my schedule. Or they want to know about financial aid. So I really want to just mention that we do not have anything to do with your class schedule or your credits or financial aid, or if you want to withdraw from a class. We would refer you to your advisor. And I can make a note that also when it comes to your placements, if there are questions, we certainly will refer you to your placement assistant. So even though these questions are brought up, it's not that we don't refer you to the person that can really, answer those questions for you. Over the years, I have had students, and especially students that are getting ready to, graduate. It is their final year, and we're in the winter semester. And along the way, I have had students ask me, Kim, what do you think as a liaison? What do you think you need as far as a skill or a quality in order to serve in this role? Because some students will want to know whether or not they are fit, because of course I know them, getting to know them, they'll say, do you think that I could be a liaison? So I thought for just a few minutes that I would talk about some of the qualities that I think really make up a effective liaison. And I think the first one is pretty obvious. You need to be able to communicate. Communication skills, which means listening, which means to be able to confirm and validate. Um, it really means that you're able to look at other perspectives. So effective communication skills, I think is something that is a quality that we need to have. Um, Second, when I was talking to a student and they were asking me what you really need, I think problem solving skills, where we can identify a problem and we can look at different solutions. And it doesn't mean that us, serving as a liaison, that our solution is the solution that needs to be implemented. But to be able to not be rigid, to be able to listen to different perspectives and to come up with a solution for that particular uh, issue or problem. And I think lastly, we need to be able to be team players. We need to be able to be not only comfortable in a team, because think about it, we collaborate. We're always collaborating. I don't know what the social work world would be like if we couldn't use that term as collaborators. So to value teamwork and to be comfortable with teamwork. And when I was putting this together, I was in between positions, employment. And I ended up at a clinical office. And every Friday we had team meetings where you would share your case. I had a coworker who would come to my office and want me to walk in with her because she was so uncomfortable with teamwork. She felt that I know my case and I really don't need to talk about it, and she was extremely uncomfortable. So, in contrast, I believe that as liaisons, we really need to be able to have the ability to be a team player and what we can learn from being part of teams. I want to, at the end here, and this is something that I'm just putting out there. Again, it's what I do, and I know a few other liaisons that also do this. But really, how important do you think it is for us as liaisons at the end of each semester to really assess our own work? It's something that I do, and I know that other liaisons do that. And what I mean by that is at the end of, for an example, fall, I will, in between fall and winter, during our winter break, our Christmas break, I will sit and I will look at the student list and the instructors. And I will say, hey, with this student, there was an issue that came up. How did I support that student? What were the solutions that were looked at? And were they the best solutions? So it's really a time for us to reflect. And I really just wanted to bring that up as kind of towards the end here to just say that I do know that it can be insightful for us as liaisons. We can learn a lot. There have been times when I reflect on a situation and I'll go, you know what, possibly the next time I won't take that angle. So I think in closing, what I really would like you to hear is that you are never alone at your placements. You're never alone. And I want you to think about the fact that many of you, if not all of you, are walking into territory that is unfamiliar. And how do you know what you do not know? Right? So even if you're an MSW advanced, and of course you've had a previous placement, you're still walking into a placement that you're unfamiliar with. So I want you, I want you to know that you are not alone and that there is no ridiculous question. And so we are here as liaisons to really be a support factor, an additional support factor on top of your direct practicum instructor, because we work from the wings, but we are still here. So I am hoping that you have gained some knowledge with this overview. And please know that if there are any questions, uh, please let me know and whatever I can do to walk through those.
Thank you so much, Kim. We appreciate your knowledge and your guidance. Does anybody have any questions for Kim? I have answered some in the chat, but if anybody wants to come off mute or raise their hand, have any direct questions for Kim? So there was a question, are we supposed to be keeping track of our time sheets for you guys? So there are time logs in IPT. And on Thursday, Nancy Keller will go over the assignments and the time logs in more detail. So that is your responsibility to do. But she will go in more detail of how to do that. And that is all in IPT. There was a question, I answered it, but I'll go a little bit more in detail because it was directly to me. But if anybody else may have this question, there was a question in the chat about a virtual placement. And this virtual placement, I guess, really does not know how to work with the student. And so the question was, does the liaison tell the placement what to do? More so, more or less. And I said, no, the liaison does not tell the organization what to do. However, the liaison can talk to the practicum instructor there, kind of let them know what the assignments are, what the expectations are, and give them a little guidance for the student sake from that perspective. So yes, they can be a little help from there, but they'll never be able to tell, the organization what to do for their job. So they can always be a help and a resource from that perspective, but it is hoped that the organization would know what assignments and tasks to give to the student from that perspective. And everything is always recorded. So if you miss one of the boot camps, everything is recorded and then it will be placed in Canvas. And I told students yesterday, give it about a week, and then I will email you and let you know when it is placed in Canvas so that you can see it in Canvas, see the recording for each and every boot camp that we do this week for the morning and the afternoon sessions. So you will not miss a thing. And I do not have a cutoff. Somebody asked me that yesterday. So I don't have a cutoff on that of when they will be up there. So they will be up there so that you can see them at your leisure. Don't feel like you have to rush. And you do get credit for, or credit towards your hours for participating in the boot camp. So if you're participating in it here, which I call live, this is live to me. Here on Zoom, I have your name, I have a list. You can let your placement know that you participated in the boot camp here, and you get credit for these hours. And when you do it through the Canvas, there are questions that you answer, and you get a certificate after answering those questions to prove that you participated in it, and that's how you get your hours that way. So either way, you will get your hours, and you will just let your practicum instructor know that you did participate in the boot camp. They will add them to your hours as you tally them up. And yes, you will put this on to your time log, boot camp hours on your time log as well. Okay. Sure, I'm answering everything on. Any other questions for either me or Kim at all?
Hi, I do have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I'm gonna be here for the second one this afternoon, but I have an in-person class that starts exactly at 2:30. So if I leave at like 2:20, that's not gonna affect the quantity of hours I'm placing for today, right?
Oh, no. No, go ahead. I would not
Okay.
take
Thank
anything
you.
away from you. No worries. Yes.
Can I ask a question about our practicum in general?
Yes,
So,
please.
so for instance, I'm at my practicum now. I just started this morning, and one of the days that I come, Wayne State is not in session. So
Mhm.
do I still come to practicum even though Wayne State is not in session?
Yes, if that's your day that you have scheduled to come, absolutely. Yeah, whatever
Okay,
day you schedule for practicum that's your schedule. That's your day. Absolutely. Because we have students that go on Saturdays. We have students that go in the
okay.
evening. Yes, absolutely.
I wasn't sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I actually have another question, kind of playing off of hers.
Yes.
So for the 2 weeks that we have off on campus, or do we have those 2 weeks off of practicum, or or do we work through those? Because I know that that we don't like, we're not expected to just drop our cases, but I just didn't know if like how that works out. Like, do we still attend placement on those 2 weeks that we have off for Christmas, or how does that work?
So, yes, that is a great question. Everybody always asks that question.
You do.
So, so you can, you can. So the semester is typically over. December 20th
Yeah.
is the end of the semester. So really that's the end. That's done. Your hours are done. You should have all your hours in for fall by December 20th. So technically you are done. If you want to, you can continue to work. You can continue to participate in your placement if you want to. None of those hours will count after December 20th. Okay. So you can't like, oh, let me stack up for winter and be ahead of the game. You cannot do that. Winter does not start to January 6th. So can I start winter hours to January 6th? But, if you want to continue, you can. We cannot, I'm not going to stop you. You can, but none of those hours will count. You will just have to set up something for your clients, and the placement that you are at should show you how to do that. Hey, there's a process that, I won't go through the process here, but there's a process that you go through to work with your clients.
To transition our clients and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what you would do at that time period, from when you're going to be gone for that holiday time in between. But December 20th is the end. You start back up on January 6th with that same placement. That's how it goes. But if you want to continue, yes, you can continue if your placement will allow you to be there, but you do not have to at that time.
Okay, and do you think, because my placement, we're just having our first orientation on Monday, so we're starting a little bit late because I'm from Windsor, so technically like Windsor's school semester doesn't start till September anyway, so like if my supervisor only wants me there 2 days a week, is it proper to request to have more hours just so that I don't miss out on the imbalance of starting like a week and a half later than my peers? Is that something that like we're able to do?
You can do whatever you want to do as long as at the end of the day, December 20th, you have 230 hours if you're a bachelor student or 225 hours if you're a master level student. You can work as many hours as you want, configure it however you want to configure it, as long as when December 20th hit, you got your hours in that you need to have in.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I think it's important to maybe just to reiterate that, and please know, students, that IPT's homepage, it is a suggestion when I do my, of course, meet and greets. I will suggest that students print off that homepage because there's so much information on there with your due dates, the beginning of your practicum and the end date, but also there's a statement that says you need to stay at your placement all the way through to that last week. So December 20th is on a Friday. So there are times when I will receive a call saying, Kim, oh, I'm so happy. I have all of my hours and it's only December 5th. And it's like, you know what? You are one of those outstanding students.
Yeah.
However, you need to keep going. And you need to go into that last week of placement. So if your days of placement are Monday and Tuesday, then you need to be able to show up during that last week. It doesn't mean that you have to show up on December 20th, but that week when your placements end, then you are done. You know that you cannot leave, you can't, just because you have your hours, you're not able to not show up at placement.
Yes. So to
I have a
clarify as
question. I'm
well.
sorry. I can't
Oh,
find my hand raise button, but when you're done talking, Dr. Carr, will you call on me?
oh, absolutely. I just wanted to clarify the hours because there was a question. So to clarify the hours, you do need 225 for the MSW students by December 20th. For BSW students, you need 230 by December 20th. I just want to clarify that whole amount. And then when January 6th comes, you're starting that process back over. BSWs, 230. We go to April 25th for the winter semester. And then for MSW, you need 225 by the April 25th for the winter semester. Okay. Sorry, Angie, go ahead.
No, I should find the button. I can't find it here to raise a hand. So just to clarify, the only times that we won't be able to be adding those hours in is during that break between
Correct.
the practicum. Okay. At any other times, weekends, evenings, whether our school is open or closed, we can be putting hours in with the goal, I guess it is of trying to spread it out over the semester and kind of
Yep.
see the agency at all different seasons, that type of deal. Okay.
Yep. Yep. You can work
Okay.
weekends, holidays, whenever else you want. It is just that break
When that
time.
good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have one question. I also can't find the raise hand button on this
That's okay.
whatever form, but so what if your placement actually closes before your time? Then what should we do? Like if they say they decide to close December 6th and they take an early, leave out, then what should we do?
Now you want to make sure you get all your hours before that time.
But it's okay. Like if I did have hours, is it okay for me not to continue to go in because I absolutely cannot go in?
Yeah, if you can't go in
Okay.
because they're closed, that's fine. But you want to make sure you get all your hours before they close. But
Absolutely.
yeah, if you can't go in because they're closed, then that can definitely not be held against you. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
A question.
Yes.
Okay, so I received an email stating that I was unable to do the internship at my place of employment and to explore other options, but it's like I'm not really at liberty to like choose anything else. Like the agency already made reasonable accommodations as far as in my work hours and the internship. So I'm wondering, I know it was supposed to start this week, but considering I've been waiting on a response, I'm not really sure how to move forward.
Who is your placement assistant? You've been working
Right.
with them?
Yeah, I think so. And he's the one that told me that his name starts with an E. I'm gonna check.
So it must be Eric.
I believe so. Let's see.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the only one starts with E.
Schimmel, yeah.
Yep. So I would say you need to continue to work with Eric, and if not, then email me.
So, but that's the thing. So him and I have spoken, and he stated that you will be back in office on Monday, but it's Tuesday, and I still really haven't heard back anything. And then my job is asking, like, when am I going to start? And I'm like, I don't really know what's supposed to happen next.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I just got here yesterday. Today is Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been gone 10 days.
Okay. So you're saying to just follow up with them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Follow up with Eric.
Yes.
Yep. And I'm saying if you don't get a response from Eric, then email me. That's what I'm saying.
No, and I get that, but what I'm saying is it seemed like he was pretty stern as far as in what the response was as far as in exploring other options and using place of employment as the last resort.
Right. Because that's typically what we do. Place of employment is the last resort. It is not the first. So if you have already did other options, like if you had 3 other options and you got denied, you've interviewed with 3 other options and they
Right.
denied you, then we can go to place of employment. But if place of employment was your first option, then that's not what we do. We always do place of employment as a last resort or a backup, or if something else happened, or it's just, we got an extreme case, like something else is going on, that's how we do place of employment. And it's usually like case by case based,
Right.
something else going. And that's why we have an application process for place of employment. Because if place of employment was just everybody do place of employment, we wouldn't even do an application. We wouldn't have the rules. Because if you go on our website, we have rules and regulations for place of employment, and we have all that for a reason. So place of employment is not the go-to, it's not the number one. We always try to find placements for students because we really want them to be able to get a good, I don't want to say good, but a different experience outside of work. But we have place of employment because sometimes we just need that for some students because there are different and certain situations that call for that. And so that's why that option is there. But we do not make it the go-to or the number one. But I don't know the situation around that because, like you said, I did just get back yesterday. So that's why I'm saying follow up with Eric. And then if that's not working, then you can email me, and you can email me on the side note instead of right here in the session. I'm happy to talk to you as well. But for the POEs, just overall, that has just never been the number one. We always try to find a placement for students because we have so many great ones in IPT, hundreds of them, and we really strive to make sure that students get a great experience outside of the workplace. You have work all day, every day. And even though you have different departments and things like that, really look for other things, unless there are situations that cause for that. And sometimes there are. I'm not gonna say they're not. Sometimes there are. And so again, let's try to work that through that way. Happy to help.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Check the chat. All right. Oh, thank you so much, Jasmine. All right. Well, we have a couple more sessions coming up this week. If you all need anything, please feel free to contact your liaison. Let them be your first go-to. Does everybody know how to find their liaison? Your liaison should have already reached out to you by this point. If they have not, you can find your liaison in IPT. If you do not see them in IPT, they are right under your birthday. In IPT, their name is listed right under your birthday in IPT. Yes, you can log an hour for this session on your time logs in IPT, full hour. Go ahead, have at it, no problem for today. And but if you look in IPT, you do not see anyone's name under your birthday, please reach out to my office or you can contact me. Just shoot me an email. Say, Dr. Carr, I do not see my liaison's name, and I will let you know who your liaison is. Have no problem telling you that. Shoot me an email, and I will help you with that. Yes, I see one more.
So when
hand.
we, oh, sorry, when we log the time for these, because you had it scheduled, I know like this morning you had it scheduled from 10 to 11:30. Clearly, if there's no more questions, we're probably going to be ending early. Yesterday's session ended early also. So when I log it in, is it only the hour or is it 1.5 hours?
Just do the hour. So for
The
today,
hour.
just
Okay.
do an hour. Yesterday, just do an hour. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Hey, I have a question because in talking with some of my students and including, the hour for different boot camp sessions, I had mentioned too that they could, if they attended say for an example, 4 boot camp hours, that they were able to put the total number of 4 and list 4. Would that be, is that okay that they
Yeah,
group?
they can do it that way
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
fine.
Okay. All right.
Amelia, if I said it wrong, I hope so. I see a hand raised. Did I pronounce it correctly? Okay, put it down. Ms. Shavante?
Hi. Okay, I have a question. In Canvas, I also my liaison is actually like a teacher of mine. Is that the same for like everyone?
No, that's not the
Okay,
same.
okay. I just wanted to be sure that because it was kind of strange to me. Like, hold on, is this how this supposed to go? Or
No, it's different for everybody. Yeah. So
okay,
some liaisons teach, some don't. So
okay,
yeah,
okay. Thank you.
yeah. You're welcome. So yes, you can log for today. I see that question. You can log for today. You can log an hour for today. If you were at the boot camp yesterday, you can do an hour for yesterday. The forms are supposed to be logged, uploaded today at some point today. So you may not even see it in IPT yet, but it is supposed to be done today. So it may not be there yet. I know Diane is supposed to put them in today. And Kim already answered that other question. Okay. Margot.
Yes. So I noticed I have Eric Schimmel, and he's in the School of Nursing. He the right guy I'm looking for?
He works in both schools. He works in social work and in nursing. Yes.
Okay, I was just like making sure it wasn't like, I mean, I've heard his name today, so from you. So I'm like, okay, I
Yes.
have the right person.
Yes. Same person. Yes.
Okay. Like he's not in engineering or physics, so
No.
I figured it was okay. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. And if you are online, yes. Well,
Yeah,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's okay. This is Amelia Abdelnabi. I'm the success coach. I just had a question because I have had students ask me, can they count attending like trainings or events like for set like the seminar events for like anything like that usually is a CEU towards their practicum hours if they're short on hours?
So these do count towards their practicum hours. But you talking about training and events? No, outside trainings do not count towards practicum hours
Okay.
unless they are doing it with their organization.
Right.
Now, if
Okay.
they go to a training with their organization, then yes, that can count. But like if they just going somewhere just to be going like, oh, this looks good, I would just go to this and add this to my hours, then no, they can't do that. But if their company goes to a training or something and they do it with their company, absolutely, they can definitely do that with their organization. Yes, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I had a question here. If we go on and we do it online. So if you do it, once I upload them to Canvas, it's the same amount of time because the video is still going to be an hour. So the video is an hour. So it's going to take you an hour to look through the whole video. So it's an hour here, it'll be an hour if it's uploaded onto Canvas. So it's the same amount of time. Yeah.
I think there was a question about the time log and who signs off on that.
Your practicum instructor signs
Right.
off on the time log. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah. Liaisons do not sign off on your time log. It is the student and it is your instructor. And that's done at the end of the semester, the sign off. But please accrue hours every week on the time log. There have been times when, not very often, where students have went maybe 2 months and there's no time logged. Oh, but you're going in. So every week, be aware at the end of every week to go in and to place your hours, to put your hours in for that week.
Ash, your hand is up.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about in regards to so far like the two meetings that we've done from yesterday to today. Yesterday you said that as soon as we log into Zoom, it basically gives you the names so that you know which students joined. I I think because I'm using my phone to join the meetings, I don't think it's using my Wayne State email. Would it still like see my name for it or no?
Yeah, so whatever name you register with, that's the name that's going to come up on the attendance log, on my attendance log that I get.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure about that since it wasn't with the school email.
Yeah, so however you register, that's how it's going to come up.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Any other questions? All right, Margot, I'm assuming that's the same hand from before, right? A new hand. Okay. All right, so I will see you guys later this week or later this afternoon. Again, your liaison's name is right under your birthday in IPT. If you do not see a name, please reach out to my office or reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to let you know who your liaison is. Please make sure your liaison is your first point of contact. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you need anything, that's who you go to first, okay? All right. Have a good rest of your day. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
I did